all the technology we have today, we have so many measurements we can track on a day-to-day basis. In this video, I'm gonna go through each measurement one by one to determine what we should and shouldn't be tracking. First thing I wanna say is that there is a time and place to track all of these things. These recommendations are for general public who are looking to find sustainable health, which means that I am not talking to people with specific health conditions or high-level athletes. With that being said, let's jump in. Calories. There are so many apps available to us to track calories. It's become a super common tool for people trying to lose weight because we know that weight loss, by the numbers, is dependent on calories in versus calories out. That being said, I find that counting calories tends to have a negative effect on weight loss. It can be super helpful to track your calories for a few weeks at a time to have some general knowledge on the sources of your calories, but doing it full time can lead to disordered eating. For the general population, I would stay away from long-term calorie tracking. My one caveat here is that if you are having sensitivities to food, tracking can be super helpful just to have a log of the foods you ate and the times to cross-reference any GI problems you may have had. But again, this wouldn't be a long-term calorie tracking. Weight. I actually just released a video talking about how I don't really think that anyone looking for sustainable health really needs to own a scale. Of course, this is different for specific sports or athletes or health conditions, but overall, we have tools for measuring progress in health that are so much more positive than your body weight, like performance goals and feel better goals, and I'd much prefer to use those. Percent body fat. This one is interesting because if you have your body fat percentage readily available to you and you're someone who really needs a number to chase to achieve your goals, I'm all for tracking body fat percentage, especially over tracking your body weight. But I'd still say that the general population doesn't need to be tracking this number. Macronutrients. For those who don't know, macros or macronutrients are proteins, carbs, and fats, and they make up all of our food. I have a whole video breaking them down here. Lots of videos today. But a lot of athletes will track macros because from a functional and performance standpoint, it can be a lot more useful than tracking calories. I have a similar mindset with tracking macros as I do with calories though. I think it can be helpful to track your macros for a few weeks at a time to see where you're at and to see if you're, say, super deficient in protein. But this isn't something I'd suggest the general population to do long term. Sleep. I love sleep tracking. I think getting interested in your sleep quality is the first step to improving it, and we have some really amazing data available to us to analyze our sleep. This one is easy. It doesn't require you to really input anything into the app like calorie tracking does, and I think it really does give a lot of insight about how our sleep is now and how we can improve it. That being said, there are some people, like Jared, who find tracking sleep to actually be anxiety provoking. This is absolutely valid, I totally get it, but for me, sleep tracking can be a super helpful metric. Heart rate. Heart rate is interesting because I think it can be a fine thing to track, but not all heart rate monitors are super accurate. And it's just one measurement I would look at when assessing whether an individual is quote unquote healthy. Maybe tracking your resting heart rate could be good to see if that decreases over time as you continue exercising, but your performance will be a better indicator of health to me than your resting heart rate would be. This one is so-so. I could take it or leave it. Steps. I actually love step counters because I really see it as a super simple way to move our bodies. Hitting a step goal can be an amazing first step to finding sustainable exercise. So yes, keep tracking those steps. Water consumption. Very similar to tracking calories or macros, I think it can be a good idea to track your water consumption for a few weeks to make sure that you have a sense of how much you should be drinking throughout the week and throughout the day. But once you've done that, I don't see the need to continue tracking. Strain. Strain, or HRV, can be measured through some of the fitness wearables like Whoop, and it can be a tool used to determine how well your body is recovering. I don't see a negative to tracking this number, except that it just doesn't seem like it's super accurate all the time. I'll have days where my heart rate variability is super low, but I feel great, or my number is super high and I feel like trash. It's hard to know if the tech is really accurate and advanced enough to make this a measurement I'd suggest for everyone to track. Body measurements. Measuring your hips or your biceps is kind of old-fashioned, but a lot of bodybuilders will still use this method of tracking. If it seems like something that would work for you, go for it. I think it's still perpetuating aesthetic goals over do, feel, and move better goals, but totally up to you. Blood sugar. I think that when blood sugar tracking becomes available to the masses through a wearable, it's going to be so interesting for people to finally become aware of how certain foods affect their blood sugar and the repercussions there. Right now, we don't have that tech, although I really do think it's coming soon. There are definitely some prototypes. So it's not something that I'm tracking right now, but hopefully in the future. Mood. This kind of aligns with blood sugar tracking, even though you might not realize it. Tracking mood throughout the day can be super important in realizing just how much other factors influence your mood throughout the day. Sometimes we can find that eating too many carbs in the morning makes you moodier in the afternoon, or getting bad sleep will make you irritable the next morning. It can be a useful variable to track. Poop. Last, but definitely not least. Tracking your poop for a few weeks at a time can be a valuable tool if you have any kind of gut issues. Sometimes this tracking will shed light on the causes of some of these issues, but again, this isn't something you necessarily need to track all the time. A few weeks at a time will absolutely do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gave you some ideas for why you should or shouldn't track certain health variables and metrics. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. This really supports my channel and it lets me know if you like this kind of content and what you'd like to see in the future. If you have any questions about any of these health variables, be sure to leave me a comment below or send me a DM. I love to talk about this kind of thing and I know that it can be a little controversial, so I love having those conversations. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my uploads. I am so excited about everything I've got planned and you definitely don't want to miss it. Oh, lastly, if you haven't joined us for our community workout on YouTube Live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, definitely come check us out. We have the absolute best time and we'd love to see you there.